Okay, yesterday we started to review the chapter of right view, which divides in mundane right view and superior right view. For mundane right view, it involves a correct grasp of the law of karma. Firstly, what is meant by karma? In Buddhism, it means action, specifically action of a volitional action. Action with intention behind. Summarized with this famous passage from the sutta. Amongst it is volition that I call action, karma. Having willed, one performs an action through body, speech, or mind. Right view requires more than a simple knowledge of the general meaning of karma. We also need to understand, firstly, the ethical distinction of karma, and two, the unwholesome and the wholesome. What are the principal cases of each type, and the roots from which these actions spring. When a noble disciple understands what is chemically unwholesome and the root of unwholesome, what is chemically wholesome and the root of wholesome karma, then he has right view. This is taken from Majjhima Nikaya 9, the sutta I have been reading for the past week. The first one, we divide into unwholesome and wholesome. The second one, we enumerate the instances. Usually, we select 10 as primary. Destroying life, killing, taking what is not given, stealing, wrong conduct in regard to sense pleasures, sexual misconduct. These three, the first three, are bodily actions, the three bodily actions. The next four, false speech, lying, slanderous speech, harsh speech, idle chatter, all these four belongs to verbal. And the last three, covetousness, ill will, wrong view, belongs to mental, unwholesome causes. 10 causes of unwholesome karma. Well, then what is the opposite? What is the wholesome counterparts? The opposite of this. If you abstain from these 10, then that is the wholesome karma. 10 causes of wholesome karma. Lastly, what are the roots that this karma springs from? The roots are threefold for each set. The unwholesome roots are three defilements we already mentioned. Greed, aversion, delusion. Sometimes it's the tree of greed, hatred, delusion, different translation. There's also, Ajahn Brahmali prefers the translation of desire, ill will, and delusion. The reason is that because greed have a connotation of something strong, but desire covers everything more generally. Greed is like something extreme. You want a greed for wealth, like for $1 million. And this Chinese New Year, there's usually a annual total 12 million draw. So if any of us usually go to Singapore Post and buy this total $12 million, we can say we are greedy for the first prize. We are greedy for the first prize. But desire covers everything, even just the subtle desire. Yeah? The desire to sleep longer, to sleep in, the desire to have tasty food, CNY for me. Recently, I went to the wet market to get the chiku because I desire to eat it. And yeah, instead of hatred, he uses ill will to cover everything more generally as well, from the subtle one all the way to the extreme. The last one is delusion. Any action originating from this is an unwholesome karma. And what are the three wholesome roots? Exactly the opposites of this. Non-greed, non-aversion, and non-delusion. Yeah. Expressed negatively in old Indian fashion. Yeah, this is also interesting because initially I thought, oh, if you specify non-greed, then wouldn't something neutral like I'm not doing anything in particular, for example, for one day, does that specify non-greed, like neutral? I didn't do anything positive for one day. Here, it explains that though these are negatively designated, they actually signify a positive corresponding virtues, not merely the absence of defilements. Non-greed implies the positive counterparts of the opposite counterparts of greed: renunciation, detachment, and generosity. Non-aversion implies loving kindness, sympathy, gentleness. Non-delusion implies wisdom. Any action originating from these roots is wholesome karma. Yeah. The reason this is praised this way, non-greed, non-aversion, non-delusion, is because the language and the culture during that time, the old Indian fashion. Afterwards, the most important feature of understanding this karma, the most important feature is its capacity to produce results corresponding to the action. These actions issue in retributive consequences called vipaka, ripening of phala, fruits. The principle here, unwholesome actions will ripen in suffering, Wholesome actions in the opposite, happiness. The ripening need not come right away, need not come even in the present life at all. It can operate across the succession of lifetimes. It can even remain dormant for eons in the future. I had the thought that before I explore Buddhism, I thought if someone murders someone on the street, let's say a stranger, and the police unable to catch the murderer. One famous example, if you have heard, Jack the Ripper, a famous serial killer who never got caught. I always wonder whether they would get punishment because they never get caught and they can just live normally as usual if they don't get caught and they not going to go to the trial and not going to the jail. And they can just live life normally. Yeah. So I thought, this is so unfair. He do all this evil stuff and didn't manage to get punished. And if you consider someone like Hitler, who committed a mass murder, and he just got away with a suicide, I think that's not enough for a punishment. I feel last time before I explored Buddhism. But considering this, yeah, if we recognize that karma will eventually issue in retributive consequences, not just in this life, but across many lives, then it is possible that these people will get punished eventually in future lives, even though they get away in this very life. How does that work? Whenever we perform a volitional action, the volition leaves its imprint on the mental continuum, where it remains as a stored up potency. When the stored up karma meets with conditions favorable to its maturation, it awakens from the dormant state, trigger off some effect that brings due compensation for the original action. It can take place either in present life, in the next life, or in some life in the future. The last one summarizes the way it works. Wholesome actions yield favorable results. Unwholesome actions yield unfavorable result. To recognize this principle, the law of karma, is to hold right view of the mundane kind. The mundane right view. Okay, I'm going to skip these two paragraphs. This is just a further explanation of what we have read in this paragraph. Okay. Okay, this is the summary paragraph. For most people, the vast majority, or most of us, the right view of karma and its results is held out of confidence, accepted on faith from an eminent spiritual teacher who proclaims the moral efficacy of action. Why does the text say we accept the law of karma based on faith? Because does any of us really sure that whatever we do have consequences? We have some sense of it, but we do not actually see the link ourselves. Yeah. But the Buddha, he has went through many memories of his past lives, and he has seen numerous instances of beings when they do these actions, these unwholesome actions, it will result in this way. It will result in suffering. And he has seen numerous beings when they do wholesome actions, it will result in favorable results, in happiness. Yeah. That's why the Buddha has seen the law of karma with his own observation, while we only read through what he has seen. That's why here it says, the right view of karma and its result is held out of confidence, accepted on faith. Yeah. From an eminent spiritual teacher, none other than the Buddha himself. Even though it's not personally seen, it still remains a facet of right view. It is part and parcel of right view because right view concerns with understanding our place in total scheme of things, and one who accepts the principle that our actions, our volitional actions, possesses a moral potency to that extent, rests an important fact pertaining to the nature of our existence. However, even though it's accepted out of faith, it does not need to remain that way. It can become a matter of direct seeing. Through the attainment of certain states of deep concentration, we can gain a special faculty called the divine eye. Yeah. When we have this faculty, we can reveal things that we don't normally see, that's hidden from the eyes of flesh. When we have this faculty, we can direct it to living beings and investigate the workings of the karmic law. Okay, let's take a look at the footnotes. And this is taken from Digha Nikaya 2 and Majjhima Nikaya 27. Okay, that's the review of mundane right view. 厌消三障九烦恼，厌的智慧真明了，普愿罪障细消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a mundane Monday ahead. And happy Satsang. See you guys tonight if you guys are joining. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.